Before I start, I will love to ask you, all the designers and the non designers and the students, a question here. Have you ever built a product that looks visually appealing, works well, but still didn't quite mark the hit in the market? Any of you? I guess there are a lot of experienced people here, so you can just raise your hands. Okay, sure. So, I believe most of the designers are can relate that thing. Pouring your creativity and efforts into something which didn't quite make its place in the market. So, today we are going to talk about why that happens by diving deep into some of the most common pitfalls in product design. And more importantly, we are going to explore how to avoid those traps so your product not only looks good, works well, and rocks in the market. So, I will just give a quick introduction about myself. I'm Parul. I'm a UI UX designer here at Geekyans. And when I'm not designing, I am creating paintings, I'm writing stories, and I'm a curious person, so I explore a lot of stuff. So, my friends usually tell me that I look at the things differently. Like other people usually focuses on the positive parts, like how should we make a product successful, where I think about what negative things we should avoid to make that product successful. So, today's talk is relatable to that. We are going to talk about blueprints to blockbusters, design traps, and market wins. Before that, as a UI UX designer, I always want to make sure that the work I do always makes sense, not just visually and not just in the aspect of how it looks good, but I want to do something creative that not just works well and looks good, but also stands out in the market, helps the users meet their needs, expectations, and behavior. And yeah, sounds good doesn't always work when it comes to the market. So let's look into some of the most common pitfalls in the product design that I believe most of us can relate throughout the journey of our career. So let's look into one of the most common mistakes that I think we all have done at some point of time, like mostly during the early stages. Designing for yourself, not the users. I think we all can relate to it, and just think about it. It sometime you are just sitting over your couch and you got this amazing idea that you believe it's brilliant, and like you it makes you feel like you are a genius, but you get all excited and because you think that's something you would use, but the problem is you are not your user. At early stages of my career, I have faced this issue. We built something sleek, seamless, minimalistic, which we thought were pretty innovative. But when we launched it in the market, we realized that user did not expect it, and they were like, "What is even this for?" So why that happened was we did not validate user needs and expectations enough. We kind of ignored what they needed, and it's pretty easy to avoid those things. Just keep doing your research, the core research. Interact with user in real life, to your friends, to your family, if they need what you are building. This is the most easiest way you can have a you can avoid this mistake, designing for yourself, not the users, because you're solving their problem, not yours. Moving like speaking of research, we will be moving to the next pitfall, which is ignoring the market research. I think market research is something we should always do before we jump into the design phase. So, and sometime I can see, like, I have also done that. Sometime I was so focused on building something that looks good and works well, but I forgot to analyze the market situation, what market actually needed. So it's always a good idea that you do your market research properly, because there are a lot of products that are already in the market, and believe me, are the better ones. So just do your research and do your competitive research. See what competitors usually offer, what's the missing piece for your product that you are going to build, what makes it unique from the other product, and always focus on the pain point of the users. Moving on to the next, how many of you have been using Hike? Before I proceed to the next talk, have you know about what Hike is? Hike, Hike. Okay, so I guess young people kind of know about that. So our next talk is next pitfall is overloading feature, and this is something we all can relate. We Hike. I will explain it to you. Yeah. Yeah. So, overloading feature is known as feature creep. I mean, we all have worked in a client product at some point of time where clients just want to add a lot of feature on the earlier stages, right? Like, how many of you has worked with and deal with such clients? You can raise your hands again. Okay, a lot of people. Yeah. So, this is something you really want to avoid when you're just launching your new product. Sometimes adding more and more feature feels tempting and appealing, but this is the mistake we do on the early stages of building a product. When you want feature creep is it happens when you try to add more features by diluting the users from the core perspective of the product. You keep adding new features and forget the what the makes the product unique. What is the main purpose that you launch the product? And overloading the application or a product with a lot of features is overwhelming for the users. They want to try something which is simple. Even I as a user want to try something simple at the starting. Then again, if I'm adding a um, lot of things over the time, then we will adjust. But at the starting, if you flood the user with a lot of features and applications, they might think like, oh, what I'm going to do about it. So moving on to the my question about Hike is a messaging platform that was built by an Indian creator. It is now actually shut down, so if you guys don't know, it's fine. So Hike was much more advanced from its time. It was like it has so many features like AI chatbot, which are other platforms are introducing now, which was called Natasha, the stickers, also some other things like hidden mode and all. And even I have used Hike. I don't know much about all these features like Hike Cricket, Kabaddi, Hike News. So I only used it for the messaging. So we will talk about what makes Hike a failure. So when we talk about Hike was launched as a alternative of WhatsApp in the Indian market. But if you compare Hike and WhatsApp, WhatsApp has a main agenda, messaging, and it was so easy to use, and people would, I will, even my grandparents can easily use it. It's not that hard to use. So instead of that, Hike just keep adding more and more features over the time, just in like I would say quarterly, which made the application very complicated for the new users. And it only targeted the young crowd. So what about the other, like the old people? What about the new, like the kids? They don't know how to use much about Hike. And also WhatsApp, uh, the smartphones become cheaper in India as compared to the other countries later on, and the internet was easily accessible for many people, both for urban and rural area, which gave the WhatsApp a upper edge because it was easier to use, not much complicated. And later on, when they jumped into the business, Hike was nowhere to be found. So in 2021, Hike was finally closed. So it does tell us about, you want your product to do everything, but in the end, by doing it ends up doing nothing. So it's better we start with simplicity and later on we add and introduce new features to the product. It's fine if it's simple and it has a core value about it. It doesn't have to be too overcomplicated. Let's just user in adapt to the product, and later on the later stages you can introduce new features on the next phase. So now talk about the other pitfall, which is skipping user testing. And believe me, you don't want to skip it. Let's take an example of Apple Map. How many have you used Apple app or Apple Map, or have you been opened that or installed that application? Again, you can raise your hands. You don't have to shout it. Okay. Did you guys like it? You can say it out loud. Sure. Because it's a bit complicated. Before launching into the market, Apple did not test their product. So now you can guys still can go onto the Play stores and the app stores and see the review of how bad the review is. So don't ever skip the user testing, and do suggest to your clients that user testing is important. User testing refers to the something when you launch the product in the market without testing it with the real users. And if you do not test it with your real users, it can the product can face very hardships, like bad user experience, all the resources from the business side, it's just going to the waste. And here at Geeky Ends, what we do before we jump into the full-fledged product, we always uh, suggest our clients and our partners to let's build something which we can test with the other users. And if that goes correct and if everything's fine, we can always introduce even if something is bad, we can always introduce new features on the next step by having the feedback from the first phase, which makes product more sustainable and works in the market. So it's always good to test the product before you are launching it into the real world. And remember, it's quality over quantity. How many features you add in your product, it doesn't make it great. You have to add some, you need to have some core values, some core ideas that makes your product good. Because if I will I can take an example for Swiggy. Let's take, when Swiggy launched, there was already hundreds of food delivering applications. But today's time, there are only two, and I believe all of you guys know what those two are. You can speak out loud again the name of those applications. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Swiggy and Zomato are like the application which evolves with time. But we will talk about it later. And let's jump into the next pitfall, which is failing to adopt. And like I said about Swiggy and Zomato, with over the time, like they just started as a food delivering application, but now they are different. Like I'm not saying it's very different, but it's like they have become more, not just a delivery application. Now you can book your dinings. Now you can book even short tickets from those applications and order groceries. So it's always a good, you adopt, you adapt with the market. Just don't sit sit and stand still. Failing to adopt means sticking the original designs, visions, and the business goals, which I believe user don't still want to have it. If your design and your ideas, your vision becomes old, it means that no one's going to use your product. You need to evolve your designs, not just designs, your product idea over the time, because user will find some a better way in the near future. If your product is just giving something which is already there but old, or nothing progress is going on. Now let's take an example of Nokia. I believe this is like a pretty common example and everyone know about Nokia, right? Have you used Nokia mobile phones? You can say it out loud, more loud. Yeah. So Nokia was something which was dominating the market in early 20s, I would say. And even I have used that phone. I'm pretty young, I would say. And I have used that I I have used used that mobile phone. And and today's generation, like, and the more younger generation would be, they will know about it more in a way like, oh, it's something, a strong phone that was hard to break, that's it. So the story of Nokia, why it failed, was because it did not evolve with the market. When iPhone launched, they Nokia was like, we will see what happens, if the user going to love iPhone or they're just going to stick with what we have. But their perception was wrong. User loved the idea of iPhone, the smartphones. Even Samsung started manufacturing smartphones, but later when Nokia realized it was too late. But it was still not too late. Even though they did not still stay in the market, they're still here. They're still doing what they can to stand still, and I hope they build something which is greater than iPhone or Samsung, so we would use it again. And speaking of a success story, we all use Instagram, another common example, and I believe this is like a very basic one. So, but do you know Instagram was called Bourbon before? Anyone knows about it? Nice. So, so originally it was called Bourbon and it was a check-in application. But the creator noticed that it was user like sharing their photos, which which they took the feedback. It's not like they ignored their users like I would say Nokia. I wouldn't be saying this, but they did not ignore their user. With the continuous feedback and the datas they got from all those research they did, they built something what we have today. Instagram is evolving with time. Not just Instagram, I would say all the platforms which have a great place in the market. They're evolving with time, always introducing new features so that user keep just be stay in the application. Just for example, Figma, they are introducing a lot of features: Figma slides, FigJam, Figma designs. So, and even the AI feature they might launch later. So it's just all the products, they wants to stay in that platform, they don't want you to leave. So this is what makes a product successful. If you are just going keep going back to that product, it means like there is a succeed, you have succeeded, I mean they have succeeded. So the main important thing is, if you build a product that users love but it did not align with business goals, it will not stand, it's not going to be standing long in the market. Business goal needs to be aligned with user needs. Think about, you are building a bridge, one side is user needs and one side is a business goal, and both side needs to be equally sturdy. If one becomes heavy, one becomes the other becomes heavy, the bridge will fall. So if the user needs, we talk about user needs, if the application is so easy to use and less overcomplicating, user just love to have it and use it, then what about the business goal? The business will financially crumble and the bridge will collapse. Same, we if we talk about the business goal, if we make the product more profitable, and we did not talk about making the product so easy and useful for the user, the users will shift to the other bridge, they are not going to use your product. So it's always a good to align both of them. The balance, the key is the balance product, and which makes your product not just survive but thrive in the market. So with so to recap, design for your users, do your research, avoid making your application or product a feature creep, test your product and always be open to change. And before that, Sheikh Murad, Praveen and Vinny just gave the talk about how to make product market fit, with some additional thoughts about how we can make your product business align, how to do a proper research, and how to use AI for a better future. These are the common pitfalls, but these are also the most common opportunities for the improvement. And with that, finally, just a quick reminder: designing a product is same like no, I would say that if it's a joke that you have to explain, it's uh, if a joke you have to explain, it's not that great. Same goes for the design. If you have to explain every step of your design, then believe me, the product is not that great and the user journey is also not that great. So keep it simple, make it user friendly, and go out there and design the best blockbuster product for the future. So with that, I'm Parul Verma, designing out. See you soon, guys, for in the next meetup.